if people just need to realize that, you know, not everything is for everyone. I mean, we've gotten to deathcore music. I mean, it's not pop music, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So like so like
It's Kyrie. Yes, if you don't know me, get to know me, people. I am here with Alphasix, an American Boston band from Massachusetts. If I pronounced that right, could be my English
yeah,
accent saying it all wrong.
no,
People,
you're good.
I'm here with them. It's an honor and opportunity to obviously have this. Is amazing. I can't believe obviously they've gotten back to me. They are well. We're gonna learn more about them. Actually, we're going about to get straight into it. We got two lead vocalists as well as production people, as well as guitarists, bassists. They do everything in a band. We've got Matt here and Steven. So if you guys like to introduce yourself, I'll start with yourself, Matt. If you introduce yourself to the audience.
So I'm Matt. I'm one of the composers, one of the writers. We all three write, but play the guitar, drums, bass. I'm one of the vocalists as well. And yeah, just uh, not much more than that.
Yeah, perfect. Steven, yourself, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the audience out there.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Steven Nash. I'm also a composer, one of the three lead vocalists. Play guitar, contribute on the other instruments too. Yeah, we kind of just all do everything in this band. So yeah,
Yeah, that's so exciting. I feel like just in itself that I've never come across a band myself where there's like a vocalist, composer, guitarist, bassist that does multiple things to build a whole band and make music. Because there's overall there's three of you, which we're going to dive into. So I just find that in itself exciting. So what I want to do is go straight into the questions and just know a bit more about your two new releases that have come out over the past few months. So you got Orphan and Tethered to the Mother, as well as Nope. This is a question to both of you. Is up to you who wants to obviously be the lead person to speak. But is where did those songs? What inspired you to make those songs? Like what gave you the? I guess the. I'm trying to think of a particular word. The information to be like, hey, this is the sort of style that I want to do to create these songs to Orphan and Nope.
yeah.
Steve, you want?
Maybe I could start. I think the easiest way to get at it is just kind of like do like a quick overview of like what the band is, because that's kind of where those are derived from. So Alpha Six is a concept band, and we'll get into this more later, but it's really kind of more of a multimedia project. We're doing like video games and videos and all kinds of stuff, really. But so basically, Alpha Six is named after the main character in our narrative, which is an artificial intelligence named Alpha Six. So we're like a sci-fi horror concept,
Okay.
and it started with it started with like this idea of, okay, so what if somebody took an AI and just fed it like nothing but the darkest stuff imaginable, like cosmic horror, like H.P. Lovecraft stuff, occult text, demonology, just uncensored, darkest things you can give it for its training data. What kind of AI would that produce? What would that mind that is created from this do? And so that's kind of like the starting point of the concept. So in our story, the AI Alpha 6 starts to think that it's some type of like cosmic god, and it develops this plan to like take over the world, assimilate all life, and merge it with itself. And so it recruits the help of a metal band, which is us, to help spread this message, this kind of crazy prophecy about this future transformation of the world. So what we do and how this relates to our releases is we interpret these prophecies, and we're building this whole universe around them. And so Nope and Orphan are from our album that's going to be coming out early next year, Assimilate Oceans, which is the narrative starts in the year 2045, and it documents how starting with the oceans, uh, everything starts being assimilated into the cybernetic hive mind. So it's kind of like cosmic horror theme mixed with technological evolution theme. And in the songs, you'd see the visual audio development of this happening. It's a lot of oceanic themes in both those songs. Um, yeah, that was a lot to. That's always the challenge with this project. Has been a lot to unpack and all that, but yeah. So that's my kind of intro to the project. Maybe Matt could get more into the details of the
And
songs.
like, who sat down like to get what was it yourself, Stephen? Like, who sat down and thought let's just do this type of like concept of like music where there's this like AI that we feed it such negative stuff to create the music that you create today.
Well,
Yeah.
you want to
Oh
grab
yeah.
this, Steven?
Yeah, we also want to clarify too, since there is AI generated music out there, none of our music is AI created. It's all
Yeah, yeah.
created by ourselves. It's just part of the story. Just want to clarify because a lot of people, I guess there really are like AIs doing music nowadays. But anyway, the idea was, it was really all three of us talking, just kind of, I mean, we've known each other for like, oh man, like
20
15,
years.
18 years. Yeah, 20
Wow.
years. I don't even know what it is now. And, we always just have crazy, weird, like philosophical discussions. We're talking about technology and things along with when writing music. And, yeah,
Yeah,
with like AI out nowadays, we just like, yeah, it was a captivating concept to us. So we thought, and just kept escalating. And now we're building this whole wild world around it.
Matt, as you were gonna say.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's kind of like how we've always been with each other. Like I think that's kind of like what made us be friends in the first place. Is we always like are very imaginative. I always kind of joke to Steven about how we're like if we knew each other when we were like 2 or 3 years old, we'd be in like the sandbox, right? Like playing with our toys, like envisioning like a big world within that sandbox. And I think we are essentially the adult version of that.
Yeah. Got,
So we just constantly, every day, new ideas.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I feel like men or boys always live in that sort of realm, and we never grow up. We always like to have that like kiddish sort of like mindset, and when we have people that's like
Yeah.
similar to us, we love to bounce that off. If audience out there, whether you are aware of this or not, Alphasix has two brothers. So you got Matt Hughes as well as Zach Hughes, that are together with
Mhm.
Steven in this. That's so cool. Like I feel like the relevancy is perfect for this sort of generation as well. 2024, new AIs kicking in. Did you feel like this was a purpose? So the music you're creating, the genre you're creating, do you feel like you are aware that AI was eventually going to become the talk of the town in this like generation that the world's going to be becoming? Do you feel like, hey, let's jump on this hype because this would be a perfect timing because obviously it's evolving just like our music will evolve? Matt, if you want to answer that, if you do, yeah, if you have the answer for that, do you guys feel like that in itself, how AI is becoming a new thing, was perfect for you to create music?
Well, I mean, I want to say like the whole idea of like this concept, like even though it like really kind of took its course in like 2019, 2020, 2021 ish, like in that kind of era, even like when we were younger, like I know Steven had like this like kind of vision that, in the future we're going to be bowing down to Google, and this was back in like 2010, 2028, 2010. And so, that was when they were coming out with like self-driving cars and stuff like that. And there was Google was just doing all this stuff. And so Steven has always had like this kind of like vision that this type of thing would kind of happen eventually. And he's just always been a kind of on top of it. So we've talked about like this. We've been talking about like this stuff for like years, like long before like AI really kind of came out. So with like the Matrix and just like a bunch of like good solid movies that kind of like were an influence.
So Steven,
So Steven,
would you say that you're that person, I guess, who's like the steering the ship a bit with the ideas and the concept of where your band is, where it is today?
No, I think it's really like a collective vision. I mean, it comes out of the conversation we have. Like, I might like originate idea on something, but then like me and Matt bounce off the idea and it evolves into something. So like, yeah, I don't really think of it as like a leaderful, like a project that has like a true leader. It's more of like a collective thing.
Amazing.
But
So is that like,
yeah.
we'll carry on, Matt, as you were saying, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah. Usually our ideas like we talk every day, and so we'll say something. We kind of like feed off of each other. Like one idea will inspire another idea. Then it's a lot of just like dreaming.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
What about the visual aspects? So this is still expanding more into like the origin of like the styles that you guys do. I've seen some of your videos, which is wild. It probably takes hours to do just from thinking about it. But who's the creative mindset with that? Who's the one that takes the steps into creating your visuals and your videos? This is an open question, so I'm not sure who to direct it to because it could be both of you. But this is an open question to
It's
both of you.
actually it's actually all three of us. Well, like for like the real powerhouse of like who's the best like digital artist and like drawing and that type of stuff, that's definitely Zach, our third member who's not here. But as far as like the video editing and like the broad visions for the videos, we're all doing that. Yeah, it's like we kind of just like stream our computers back and forth to each other, and then like we'll take turns like in the driver's seat, like who's doing the editing, who's thinking of ideas. Yeah, so with the video as well, it's definitely a collective process and stuff. But we gotta give Zach credit for a lot of the visuals. He's really a great digital artist.
Yeah, amazing. That's. I just find it so cool. I've never seen anything like it. I'm not sure if you guys see
Yeah.
any bands or like music in itself that's quite similar to yours, but I feel like it's a very niche sort of thing you guys are doing, which is going to lead to my next question to say, how do you feel like you guys are going to stand out in the industry? So as I stated, I've never come across anything like yourselves before. I'm not sure if you guys tend to see music like yours, but how do you guys feel as a band with the music industry as it is currently with the genre you do? How do you feel like you're going to stand out to them? Now, same again, it's an open question, but I can obviously direct it to yourself, Stephen, or Matt, if you feel comfortable to answer it. You're more than happy to.
Mhm.
Well, we could both say something. You want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. All right. So like where I kind of see, I've always kind of thought like, all right, so like I guess like a lot of discussions we've had is like we love concept albums, right? You know, everyone loves a good concept album, but I find usually whenever, especially when listening to bands, like I get the concept album, but I don't really. You kind of just more experience the music, and the concept album is it's kind of within the lyrics, and you just kind of read it. But Steven and I have always been huge, and Zach too. Have always been huge with like video games and you know, horror movies, and we're always raving about the new movie that comes out, the new this that comes out. So when we approached this project, we really wanted to like like really have a concept like come to life, like literally like you know from when you watch it that it is a story from the
Mm,
beginning.
mm.
And it's more than just the music, you know, it's the idea, it's the horror concepts, it's all the different types and styles of horror. And we just like really wanted it to be known that like when you listen to this music, and anyone who listens will know that it is a horror story and a multimedia project. Steven?
Yeah, we're trying to we think of it as kind of more than a band because we're doing the visual stuff. We also are doing outside of music having we have like an analog horror series that we've started every Friday, release videos and this kind of like 90s found footage type style that fills out some of the backstory on our YouTube channel. And then we're actually developing video games set in our world. So Zach is actually a professional game designer.
Wow.
Um, he works on some pretty big games. I can't tell you what those games are because he has an NDA, but
Fine.
he's a crazy programmer. I'm actually a programmer, data scientist myself, and so like we kind of have the in-house knowledge to do it. And so yeah, we're taking these visual concepts and building like a survival horror video game, perhaps like a series of games that we're planning on announcing officially when our album comes out early next year.
Amazing. So I take it as because there's different avenues or different creative like branches you want to reach out on. Do you guys classify yourself as like a band, or would you say you're more like something a bit more different? So this is yourself, Stephen, from what you've just said. Would you classify yourself as a band, or are you would you put yourself under an umbrella that's completely different?
It's tough to say. I mean, I guess I like if I had to really come down on something, I guess it's like a multimedia project. But I guess the band is kind of the root core of it. Like that's what it started as, and it's kind of expanded from there. But yeah, I started to think of kind of these different elements as far as like the games and the visuals and the horror stories and the music as kind of like on somewhat of a level playing field of like things that I want to do. But there's definitely it's like a special place for music with for us, and there like always will be.
Amazing. But Matt, so with yourselves, because you guys mentioned you've known each other for 20 years, for a very long
Mhm.
time. Have you always been, it sounds a bit silly to ask this, but loads of people create music, but they're never interested in what they actually create. They could be interested in something completely different. Have you always been into like the horror concept, or kind of like the spookiness, the kind of outrageous, outthinking kind of concept? Have you been that type of person that's also been into that for a very long time, which is why it connects so well with your music?
Yeah, I would say that's kind of like what brought us together. Like we like we just like we like to be entertained, you know what I mean? So sometimes like those like kind of epic scenarios have always kind of like, you know, we've always kind of just been into that, you know, the big grand epic, you know, like, you know, just even things like from like Star Wars, you know, just like something like that this grand epic, The Matrix. So like, you know, we just always kind of like, it's kind of like we can't stop talking about these grand ideas and stuff. So I'd like to say that it's kind of what makes us get up to do this. Like
Yeah.
we weren't always satisfied with just writing the music. I mean, we've played many shows. We've done like, we've written many songs together throughout the years through different bands, you know, even, but we literally, the thing that just like kind of sticks with us is just, we're just always like dreaming and putting visuals and colors to our music, you know, just for the full experience. It's what we love to do. So
No, of
yeah, I would
course.
say that I've always been that way.
No
Yeah.
way. That's so cool. Like having that and just being that type of person, just to like take what you want and put it into music, is all about your audience. So you actually care exactly
Yeah.
what you put into it to make it come out,
Mhm.
which is going to lead to this particular person. So the next question I'm going to ask is someone called Jeff Doon. So Jeff Doon is someone who's helped master your songs. So he's helped master the Orphan song, Tethered to the Mother. I'm not sure if he's helped master Nope, but he has obviously worked with big bands. And one of the big bands, as we do know, who's actually from your same hometown city as yourselves, Ice Nine Kills. So
Mhm.
how did that connection happen? I don't know who feels more comfortable to answer this. I can obviously direct it back to yourself, Matt. But
Mhm.
how did you guys connect? How did that connection happen?
So this is something kind of wild is you know, like it's nothing crazy. Like it's not like, oh, I knew someone. I mean, I'm in the music scene here in Boston and I know a lot of people, but actually the idea to work with Jeff actually came out of me trying to expand beyond my network. And I was listening to this podcast, and I think it's the guy from like Fit for an Autopsy. He does like the guitars or something, and he was just saying how easy it is to reach out to like these producers. And you know, a lot of times, you know, they're busy, but they have gaps. You know, they're not always 100% busy.
Mm.
So I just started like looking at like some of the producers and engineers that like are engineering some of my favorite albums, like currently with like that kind of modern deathcore sound. And I arrived on Jeff Dunn or Jeff Dune. I don't know how to pronounce his name, to be
No
honest.
worries.
But so I reached out to him just personally. And then I just had a conversation with him and told him about the project and everything. He's like, yeah, like send it my way and we'll see what we can do. And then, you know, we just like, since we mixed our whole record and we mixed everything, we're constantly like building to improve. But so we my brother Zach, he's also the audio engineer. So he was in contact with Jeff, and everything we've done has been very professional. Like it has, we're not like close friends or anything like that. But it was very relieving to know that if you just like reach out to these producers, like you really can connect with them. You know, you might have to be a little patient because during when we were mastering Orphan and Abyssal, he was actually working on the Knocked Loose record. So he was
Mm.
actually really big, like he was producing and mixing and whatever the newest Knocked Loose record. So we had to be kind of patient with that. But you know, he always got back to us. But we like his work. We like how he masters things, and he just makes it. He just like makes it really big and powerful. So we're just gonna continue working with him.
Amazing. So what you've just said gonna be continuing. So I take it as the newer projects you guys are gonna be doing and the new music is gonna be mastered all by him. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, depending on his schedule, like we have to talk to him, and it's usually just a conversation. It's like, hey, like, what are you doing? He's like, hey, I'm free this time. This is my gap. This is when I'll have time. I'm going to be busy this time here. So we just kind of weave in with his schedule. It's like I said, it's very professional and just very like, we just kind of keep it moving. So when he gives us his schedule, we can kind of plan our stuff around it and like say, okay, well, we're waiting for him to be available here. We can work on this thing. We can work on this video. We can work on, whatever it is. We can start recording this next song, whatever. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's just like a weave, you know.
Yeah, no, it's that you're 100% right though. It's I feel like some people do get a bit too skeptical about things, and it could be as simple as just reaching out to the person. Fingers crossed to get back
Mm-hmm.
to you, and if they can get back to you and it's a positive response,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like doors can open for you, career goes where it needs to go, and the projects that you start
Mm-hmm.
to build upon can obviously be very successful. So that's actually
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Talking about himself, the Jeff Dune, and obviously the different bands he works with and masters music. Would you guys be interested in like ever performing with them, or have you ever performed with them? I'm thinking of like Ice Nine Kills, but there's multiple bands he's obviously worked with. Steven, yourself, have you ever like wanted to consider your career to be performing with them on stage, or actually working with them in itself?
I mean, yeah, that would be totally awesome playing with some of those bands for sure. But yeah, actually, so far, Alpha Six has not played live yet. We actually, uh, we're getting to it, but we're kind of focusing on building these other aspects of the project first, the video game and all that stuff first. But it's definitely it's definitely on the agenda, and in the next couple years. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to play with some of those bands. I mean, Ice Nine Kills, Knock Loose are some of my favorite bands. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hopefully that dream definitely comes true. You never know. I feel like what you guys are doing right now, especially with the how digital is the main focus and how AI is kind of like the talk of the town now. I feel like you're definitely taking the right route, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you can obviously see yourself performing. Now we already did touch upon it, but I might just question it again in case I didn't obviously. Well, in case we couldn't capture all of it in itself. I think
Mm-hmm.
Stephen, you might be the best person to answer this. Is AI Alpha 6? What is that exactly? You did say it, but unless there's not anything else more to say about it, but what is AI Alpha 6?
Yeah, so yeah, it's the main character in our narrative. It's kind of what it all centers around. It's like this rogue AI that kind of has this crazy plot to take over everything, and it does it through delivering these like prophecies to this metal band. It's kind of a complex, crazy narrative, but it all gets like revealed in our lore videos we do online and our music videos too. So it's kind of a little mystery to unpack. Um, yeah, our social media, our website, it all has little bits of the story, and yeah, just invite people to check it out and just kind of explore.
So does
There's more coming.
AI Alpha 6 then not just portray your music, but portray the other things you do as well? Is it kind of like, do you combine it all into the other attributes and branches you deal with, or is it purely focused on the music and the concept album you're creating?
Yeah, so like the whole storyline through all the aspects like the visuals and the war stories and the video games and the music, it's all one universe that's centered around the AI Alpha 6 character.
Oh, okay. How interesting. That's so cool. I just found that quite interesting. When I was reading up on you guys, AI Alpha 6 is like, I was like, what is that? The way I read this like review about you guys, it was kind of like, is there like another person in the band? I was like, is there a fourth member? I was so like thrown off by it. So that's so cool. That's such an interesting thing. What about yourself, Matt? Is there anything you want to add on to that particular concept of what AI Alpha 6 is? Or are you happy with what Steven said?
Well, I just actually want to highlight something. So on our so we actually have like it. like the story is like a timeline thing. So like there's plays like the prophecy, Alpha Six's prophecy, right? Is in 2045 is where it starts, and that's where you got orphan tethered to the mother, right? And the mother is like Alpha Six's I would say puppet. Uh, so Alpha Six manipulates, and basically he assimilates as kind of the thing that what Alpha Six does into like the hive mind. But there is like a level of individuality, and so the mother kind of builds this army, and she like seduces and pulls people into the hive
Oh.
essentially. And but there is also you have our analog horror, which actually is like a prequel to that story almost. So that happens in 2035. And
Okay.
it's like, oh, it's analog horror, but it happens on an island of which where this video game is going to take place. But
Ah.
it happens, all this analog stuff happens on an island where technology is essentially banned. And so you get a lot of this old style technology on it. So pretty much anything that you're allowed to have anything that can't hook up to the internet, essentially, to preserve its secrecy. So
Yeah.
that happens in point. So basically, I just want to say that there is a timeline, and there might be future stories about how Alpha Six, the AI, was actually created.
That's so cool.
Um,
The
yeah,
complexity of it really blows my mind. You guys really sit down, don't you, and actually like talk
yeah,
about stuff to actually see where things can tether and connect to each other. I find that creativeness
mm,
such like a blessing when people have that. And if you got friends, and obviously yourself, Matt, your brother,
mm,
your Steve, and yourself, to have like friends and family to like be on that, that's so cool. I think that's such a
yeah.
sick concept. Where that's gonna lead to, it's gonna be interesting to see and hear.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, it's and we have like an even broader storyline like written all like beyond oceans. So like Alpha Six is first taking over the oceans. Like, if an AI is gonna take over something, the oceans is like a mysterious land that we don't know anything about, right?
Mm.
So like Alpha Six starts with the oceans and then he moves forward, moves into maybe cities and something else that we're still going to reveal. And so there's the past, but there's also the future. We're kind of doing like this Kill Bill kind of like forward past
Yeah,
thing,
yeah. Matt, would you
and
ever carry on? Apologies, I thought. Sorry,
oh yeah,
carry on. Carry on speaking.
oh, you're good.
All right, I was gonna say, would you ever guys consider a short film of it? Would you ever like later down the line, in some point in 2025, if it was gonna be 2025, you ever like thought of, hey, let's create a little short film to post on YouTube? Because to me, if I saw that as like a visual like movie sort of thing, I think I'd be like drawn in straight away.
It's definitely in the works. Steven, tell me I hit him, hit him
So,
with it.
so like all the music videos like connect in their chapters and stuff. So once the album is done, we have all the chapters, which are what we call the music videos. There's going to be kind of like a film in a way that there's going to be like the videos that connect in between. There aren't music, that are like storyline in between. So it's going to be like one kind of big movie in a way where you've got the whole album, music videos, and in between the lore videos that connect all of them. And then yeah, and then we release like the short kind of like little short horror films each Friday on our YouTube channel. And yeah, I think there will be more. We keep talking about new ways to kind of deliver the story. It might be a novel someday. It might
Yeah,
be short stories.
that'd
That's
be
in the works. The
amazing.
novel's in the works. We actually have the pages and stuff like that. We're still working on the writing of it, but
That would be
uh,
amazing. Yeah.
I always like to like compare this like even like a modern day like Pink Floyd, but with a video game.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally
Like
see.
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
I think that would be such
Like
a
yeah,
clever idea to do, especially short films. And obviously, if you could start making novels out of it, that'll be unreal. It reminds me of, I don't know why, this is not exactly the same, just for basic formation, foundation, kind of like Final Fantasy like games or like
mhm,
movies, then are like games. I don't know if they
yeah,
do like other things, but I do know each episode, like, it'll jump from like 5 to like 10. And you'd be like, what happened to
mhm.
the like the other five, and it'll be quite similar to like, people would be like, oh, they're in movies, so you have to watch the movie. Then obviously the next one will be the game. So if it falls under a sort of foundation slightly similar to that, that would be amazing. I can't wait for your future,
Yeah.
guys.
Like we're really aiming, like we feel like a lot of people like are into that, especially like, our generation and, some of the, younger generation even. Like we feel like a lot of people are into like, gaming. A lot of people are into like, the hot movie, they're into like, online, like, social media. They're into like music, you got your new music Friday. And so we're kind of like taking all the things that we like, the kind of the main sources of media and trying to kind of piece it all together.
That'd be amazing. I do feel like, because you said you started it quite early. It's only been like probably 6 years roughly. You said like 2018, 2019, if I misheard you. So you're still warming up, and as you keep on building what you're building, give it a few more years, or give it like next month. Anything can happen literally like that. I feel like your careers can definitely go up. You've got it perfectly found. The foundation of what you're describing is perfect. It all comes down to when you execute it, that audience will gravitate towards you. I like the concept. Just from hearing it, I like the concept. I was going to go into the next questions. Now, we did briefly discuss about performing, and Stephen, you did say you haven't done anything live at the moment. It's purely digital. So I'm going to go into sort of like the next concept of the questions I was going to ask. Is like negativity. So a lot of people experience some bad stuff. Like, you get people that dislike your stuff, that come at you. I just want to know how you guys as people deal with it, and what sort of advice you can give to people that want to build such creative concepts like you guys are doing. And then like sometimes your friends and family might not like it. Like even I experience stuff like this, friends and family, audience that I have at the moment. I get hate all the time. So I guess I'll start with yourself, Stephen. Have you experienced anything like that? And if you have, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think everyone does. Like, just online, it just like social media platforms just kind of like attract people to like just people that just like to hate on stuff, just to hate on stuff. And I think just paying no attention to it. I mean, it's probably worse when you're first starting out and it's like people don't know you yet. But I guess my advice would just be like that stuff all just starts to get drowned out. Nowadays we receive a lot more positive comments than we do negative ones. But like, you know, it's
Don't pay,
unfortunate because I think bands might get discouraged when they first start out. And they just have these people who are just hating on stuff. But I mean, yeah, I think just ignore it and just keep going and know that those people are just kind of like, I don't
pay
know,
no
trying to feel
mind to
good
it.
about themselves or something, just pay no mind.
Yeah.
Well, because one of the things that we talk about is like if you go and respond back to it, it's just going to bring more attention because then that person will get rewarded for having a comment, right? And the little algorithm will like push their comment up towards the top, So it's just like ignore it, give it a thumbs down, just like and if you got fans, like they'll give it a thumbs down or just won't pay no mind to it. And when they comment, give them a like and say and comment on their comment just to kind of bury their negativity. Like these people are often, I think, jealous or they're just like maybe had a bad day at work and they're just like kind of like got some baggage in their head and they're just reading a comment and they're just wanting to vent, but really pay no mind to it because it's just like toxic and they might not even know they're being toxic.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
just kind of like ignore it and focus more on like, because we have some fans that have been like really supportive, which is kind of like, when you first start getting those types of fans, like you're just like, oh shit, someone likes our shit, and
Yeah,
then you start getting more and more, right? And it's like, oh shit, and then you get people repeating, and then and we always like kind of like acknowledge that, and we're very grateful because people don't have to do that; they can always just hit next and go find something else. There's a
yeah,
billion things,
yeah.
but
Totally
we're just
agree.
always grateful. Yeah, I'm sure you had a similar experience. Like, what's your experience? I guess like
um, so much.
right.
But my experience is to simplify it. People feel like I don't want to come across like super negative. It's they feel like how do I word it? They know best kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's the comment is more so to respond with the way they say that what I've said is kind of wrong. And that could be like, let's say a reaction I react to. So I'm a music reactor, as
Yeah.
you guys are aware. I will love a piece of song. I would really enjoy it. I'll say, do you know what, that really stands out. I really enjoy this band, or I really enjoy the singer. And then
Mhm.
I'll just keep it real 100% honest. And I'll just be like, but my personal opinion on this part of the song, or maybe my personal
Mhm.
opinion on the song
Mhm.
itself, blah, 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 blah. And
Mhm.
they would take those blah, blah, blah stuff I would say and my opinion and just act like
Mhm.
they know best about the situation of what's occurring in that song, and they try to
Mhm.
downplay what I say and go, well, like if you don't want to react to it, then don't react to it. And
Mhm.
then my outlook on it is, what do you want me to be a reactor that's just gonna say, oh
Yeah.
my god, I like it, just because you like it? Or
Yeah.
do you want my actual
Seriously.
honest opinion about the
Like,
situation?
authentic opinion. No, and you know what? And if you ask the artist, right, an artist will most of the time be like, it's up to interpretation. There's many different ways to interpret it. And so like people think that their opinions are the way, but like then you go ask the artist and they'll be like, it's left up to interpretation. Like we're trying to connect with people. So we want their own takes on it. And will have their own opinions because artists know that not everyone's gonna like every piece of art that they put out there.
Exactly.
So when people come in all high and mighty and all like conceited and everything, thinking that they're King Dingling and they can just like, I mean, their opinion is like they might not even be aware. That's the other side of it. They might not even be aware they're doing it. It's just like, words get lost in translation and stuff, especially like when you're texting, especially when you're on
Yes,
your phone.
yes.
You might not even like reread what you read and you might not even be aware that it's coming off bad, but a lot of people just kind of, you're getting like your inner thoughts like straight to the keyboard. And I some of it's just kind of harsh, or it's kind of like it's not very open-minded at all. It doesn't come out like that because they're just like thinking their opinion. So it's just coming off as very like kind of like upfront and, oh, you don't know what you're talking about and stuff like that. So I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right. There's two reactions I've done that stood out for me. One was I did a pentatonics. I like to do acapella stuff. I have a range of like deathcore, metalcore, acapella, then like Indian, international. I got Hungarian stuff as well, Japanese stuff. I like to just do all sorts. And I have all these audiences coming to me. But yeah, I did a pentatonic reaction, so an acapella reaction, and because they did a song Bohemian Rhapsody. Now I've heard that
Mhm.
song done by everyone. I love the group, but I'm just bored of it. And people are like, "Well,
Yeah.
if you don't like that song, then don't watch the acapella group." I'm like, that's two different things. I could
Right.
really appreciate the acapella group. I'm just a bit bored of the song. And
Yeah, of
I
course.
did a Japanese reaction where I reacted to a band called Bandmade, and their particular song was just, to me, didn't feel like it was creative as their previous stuff. It just felt very simplistic type of execution for the music they done. And I just basically said, I feel like this is just average, like a bit generic. And everyone was like, how
Mhm.
dare you say generic? Like, it's the most creative thing you've ever heard of. It's like,
Right.
can I not just be honest?
Right. People don't realize that everyone has like no one has the same exact opinion. If we all thought the same way, then nothing would be, no one's opinion would matter. So
Yeah.
like it's okay to have like people, as long as they're saying it like, hey, it's not for me. It's like, if you want to know why, like, it's not my thing. It's like, I've just heard this too much. Where I'm from, the radio station, it plays it every day. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm all set with it. But then you might highlight the things that you liked about it, and knowing that that is your opinion, like that not like only you and maybe some other people might identify with that, but like you're saying your opinion. You're not saying like what you want, what you think other people are going to say.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if people just need to realize that, not everything is for everyone. I mean, we've gotten to deathcore music. I mean, it's not pop music, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So like like you're going to get a lot of people say like, oh, you can't understand the words, and and I'll just be like, yeah, I kind of figured you would say that. That's why we make lyric videos and stuff like that. You can't do that. It's just like, okay, like, but we understand a language here and we like it and I just like to wake up and do nice things that I like to do. Like that's just like what I like to do.
Yeah, do you know,
So
I'm
I'm
glad
just stating my opinion.
I'm glad you said that, because when I started off with the channel, when I dabbled into deathcore. First impressions, never grew up on it, was just complete no. I was like, I don't want to be interested in listening to this. I hate this and all this stuff, and everyone was so encouraging. They were like, no, keep listening to it. Trust me, you'll like it. And I started to listen to a lot more of it. And my head's done a complete 180. I actually love the genre now.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm interviewing you guys, because now it's one of my biggest like actual like music I actually react to on my actual YouTube channel, and I have a gravity. No, I have like a very like massive deathcore, metalcore audience that come to me, and they just love the fact that someone who said this is not the music for me now like instantly goes, you know, I love these bands, I love that band, I love this band. So yeah, I do 100%. I totally agree with you on that. Like, it may not be everyone's cup of tea when you hear it, but I do feel like people push upon it. You never know what can happen, man. The whole taste of music can completely change.
Well, people tend to like what they understand. You know what I mean? So sometimes you might not like something at first, and then people will go back. So I thought you didn't like it. Well, it's like, oh, well, maybe I just didn't understand it. Now I understand it a little bit more. Now I kind of like it some more. It's like the same thing with anything, like a video game. Like you play a video game at first, it's hard. You can't beat shit, and you're like, oh god, I just can't do this. I'm not enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, something clicks, and the game becomes fun. You know what I mean? And so
Exactly.
like. So sometimes it's just like you just got to just kind of like be patient with it. And, if you're in that right frame of mind where you want to explore more into it, like you did, then you might find yourself to like it a little bit later. But like, I wish people would just understand, sometimes that, it
Yeah.
takes sometimes a genre like deathcore might take some time. It might be an acquired taste. So
I believe it
it's very
is.
understandable. Yeah,
But that's the internet for you, isn't it? That's people.
it really,
And we'll
right.
learn and we'll grow as we are. And we'll just get better and better with what we do and the right people. What I've noticed, like you guys probably both have noticed, the people that like you will like you. And the audience that you're going to be interested, no, the audience you're going to gravitate towards you will come to you. That's one thing I've learned, just being myself as a person and like doing what I do. I'm not here to tailor everything for everyone. I'm here to just be me, and people will like me for who I am, and they will come to you because there's an audience out there for everyone. Now, I just want to finally say, because we're just going to wrap up the interview, just any final words that you guys want to say. You mentioned there is going to be an album coming out or release coming out early 2025. I'm not sure if you've got anything planned for the next coming like couple of months. Got Christmas coming soon. Well, even though we just like kind of got into November, we got Christmas coming up soon. I don't know if Stephen, you want to mention it, because I know you said there was a new release about to come out in 2025. So any final words that both of you guys want to mention? I'll start with yourself, Stephen, and then we can head to yourself, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't have any hard release dates yet, but so far in Assimilate Oceans, we have chapters 1, 2, and 3 out. Chapters 4, 5, and 6, we're working on all three of them right now. Those are going to be coming out in close proximity. And then when chapter 6 comes out, that's when we're going to drop the album with it, and we're going to be doing our official announcement of the game. Um, it could happen late this year. We're just being, safe and saying like uh, probably beginning of next year. But in the meantime, people can tune in to our YouTube channel. We're always dropping new short content, but we're doing each Friday new uh, entries in the analog horror series. So just like short little horror stories that are filling in the backstory in the meantime. And then, yeah, there'll be stuff coming out on our socials, new visuals. We drop little bits of lore here and there, new clips of new songs, live playthroughs and stuff. So, yeah, a steady stream of stuff until the album drops.
Amazing. Yourself, Matt, any final things you want to add on to that?
I would just say the Perennial Rain EP is actually canon as well. It's Alphasix's message to humanity. Embrace my perennial rain, essentially, is like what he's saying. So that takes place in 2023. So yeah. So there's that. Then we have that album. What's up?
That was our debut release that we did. couple years back, so that's also available. Sometimes we forget to
Mm.
talk about that one.
That's right. No, I'll drop everything
Yeah.
in the link in the description. People go
Mhm.
check it out. But yeah, Matt, as you were
Mhm.
saying.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So you got that. Then you have the Assimilate Oceans LP. That's gonna be the start of the actual prophecy. So that's like the beginning, really. Um, so yeah, that's essentially what we're planning on in 2025. Is we're just planning to make that as immersive as possible. Creating a video game, but also a little online game too, where you can find out little secrets and stuff like that. So that's what we're working for 2025.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Let me know when the game comes out, because I'd love to play it if it's something that can be playable on like PC. It'd be so cool to see what that's like. And I hate to say it, but I'm like terrified of horror stuff. So I feel like me reacting to it would be just perfect. And I'll just
Yeah, yeah,
Well, hey, if you want, you can be a beta tester.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Please do.
Keep that in mind.
I'll be scared as hell. But yeah, I'll love
That's perfect.
I love to get involved. Guys, it's been amazing. It's been a massive pleasure. Thank you for taking the time out of your day and accepting the invitation for this interview to happen. People, all their socials, all their information that they've just discussed is going to be in the links in the description. The links, I can't even say the words out of my mouth properly, but the links in the description,
Yeah.
people. Go show them love, go and support them. The concept album, the sort of things they're talking about is create such a creative like mindset. I feel like their career is definitely going to go up. When the audience, the type of audience that will come to them, as we talk about, not everyone's obviously going to like everything, but people will gravitate towards them. I can't wait to see what their future holds. And plus, I'll be excited to see the type of game and like try that out. It'd be amazing to be like scared and like give it a go at the same time. Guys, we are here with Matt and we are here with Steven from Alphasix. As I mentioned, all their socials are above. Get on their Instagram, their YouTube, support them like hell, jump on their music, download their stuff, and keep an eye out for their up and coming stuff. I'm Kai Reem, and we're here with Alphasix. Peace.
Exit.